Imagine your own face in outer space, disappearing without a trace. Imagine 100,000 little gnomes and Eskimos, I mean Inuits, gathering round the stars around the infinite skies of the imagination. Imagine all the nations of your mind living in peace. Imagine you could be anyone you wanted. Could it free you? And imagine that I was saying to you, I got something true, but maybe a little bit crazy to say. Welcome. So, the guitar jumping place here. The spirit of the guitar is increasing. It's becoming alive like Bicentennial Man. So I have a funny idea to share. Imagine your entourage. Like I was kind of imagining, like, you know, there's certain each situation you're in, whatever the challenge is in a situation. I guess it's not always challenging, but let's say anytime there's a challenge, different aspects of your character are useful. And so there's a guy called Epictetus who was this Roman philosopher. He was born a slave and, you know, on the outreaches of the empire, and he ended up being like the tutor to the greatest emperor ever, like Marcus Aurelius. And so, you know, and then ended up having a school and, you know, was studied forever, you know, by everyone. And so Epictetus, and his philosophy is really good. It's like Stoicism. He's one of the Stoics. I would recommend, there's one particular translation of his which is really good. I mean, I've just read one other one, but people say it's good. And then from comparing these two, I could see the point. But it's called A Manual for Living by Epictetus. It's really a really small book, very simple, plain English. And these short little chapters, you know, like some of them are like one paragraph, or others might, you know, I think the biggest one is like 3 pages, but still that's like, I don't know, 10 paragraphs. It's not very much. And they're just these little, little lessons about life, but, you know, and practical philosophy, how to live, you know, wisely. Anyway, one of the things Epictetus, and Sharon Lebel there's a great translation by her where she said she was kind of taking the spirit of Epictetus and just kind of distilling it and putting it in new words with the kind of emotion that he would have, which is, I would just, as a side note, I say that that's really wise, and I think Epictetus would be happy because he's very, very practical. And so his words being, you know, it's not his exact words, but it's what he would have said if he was here, probably, you know. So that's pretty cool. Anyway, one of the things he says is I think challenges can and should introduce us to our strengths. And so, you know, in some situations, maybe compassion is required. In other situations, confrontation or assertiveness is required. In other situations, you know, going with the flow, loosey-goosey, relaxation is required. In other situations, analysis or intense focus is required. There's different things which different situations require from us. So I was kind of thinking about that and like how these qualities of myself, within myself, you know, there's different elements within your character. And I don't know, the image just came to me of like, you know, these guys hanging around me, like my entourage. Like I've got kindness here, I've got courage, I've got wisdom there, there's humour over here. He's always wearing a, you know, polka dot tie and some flamboyant clothing. And I was thinking, oh, that's interesting. I'm yet to actually practice this, but I think I'm gonna do it. But I encourage you to join me if you want. Is like you can use your imagination to kind of imagine, instead of it just being some abstract thing in your head, kind of visualize like, or imagine you have these people around you, like your advisors, your crew, and they're with you, just a solidarity, but they're encouraging you, in certain ways. So maybe, and you could do that with the principles, like I'm thinking here, aspects of character. But you could also do it with people who embody certain principles you like. Like maybe you've got Jimi Hendrix here, you got Robert F. Kennedy over there, or you got, whoever, you got your cousin over there. Maybe that's too personal. Maybe whatever works for you though. But maybe you've got John Lennon there. You got Aldous Huxley over there. Whatever. And but say that would be one way. But what I'm going to do as just experiment is with principles. Like so, you can visualize it however you want, but they could be kind of like whatever. It could be it could just be I guess I don't know any way to do it, but maybe humor could be like some crazy like sunglasses dude who's always embodying in some crazy insane vibe, but just whenever you're getting too serious, you just imagine this guy with Ray-Bans just leaning in. Jamie, I'm gonna have to stop you there. Just use your imagination to kind of like imagine there's someone talking to you and being like, you're a trusted advisor. Or, Courage comes in and he's just like this ripped dude with enormous pecs who's, just kind of humble, doesn't talk too much, looks you really clear in the eye with a bit of a tenderness deep there. Maybe some sort of Tim Kennedy-esque character or something. It's like, Jamie, I think maybe it's time to take some risks. What do you reckon, man? Just like your friends talking to you. And so it's a way to maybe anchor some of these dispositions or principles into a more physical form. Or like you're about to make, you're oh, what do I do? Oh, should I get that hamburger? But I said I wasn't going to eat junk food, but I really want a hamburger. Oh, okay, where's my crew? Where am I? Entourage, assemble. And you'll be like, okay, who's here? Kindness? You stay there. You keep doing your thing over there. You keep reading your book or whatever. Or playing the violin, looking at the stars, whatever you're doing. Humor? Any use? Maybe not. Or maybe you can get humor to make a joke about it. But, or just to remind you to smile and go like, oh my God, I'm so crazy. I know I don't want the hamburger, but I kind of do. Oh my God, this is insane. So even if they're not giving you words, just giving you an energy of like, oh yeah, humor, You go, who else is here? Oh yeah, honesty. Okay. Yeah, honesty. Thank you. Honesty, come here. And then honesty, maybe it's some, 6 foot tall black man in a beautiful suit, 3-piece suit. He's got glasses. He's like, well, or whatever. Or maybe he's not that visual, but just like you don't even need to visualize anything. Just like, honesty. Just the principle. Go, all right, honesty, what do you reckon? And then, but for me, I think, what would honesty look? I don't know. I'll have to think about that. I'll spare you the details. But, and then honesty is like, well, all right, let's see. Or maybe honesty is like a tax man, just really like plain, So let's say honesty is, okay, my, really tall black dude in a suit with glasses. And he's like, right, Jamie, so, well, the hamburger, it's going to feel good temporarily. It's not that expensive. You could do it. It's not the end of the world if you did it. On the other hand, if you don't do it, how are you going to feel? I go, how am I going to feel? Yeah, I guess I'll feel a bit uncomfortable. But then after that, Jamie, then I guess I'll probably feel proud and like powerful that I resisted. But it's no big deal. I could just have a little one. And then honesty's like, hey, spontaneity, you shut your mouth. And I look around and some guy called Spontaneity with bleached, spiky hair is like, hey, I was just saying a hamburger's nice. Whatever. You could kind of visualize the aspects of your mind as different characters. And just to kind of notice, maybe it helps to get you out of the idea that they're all you, your thoughts are you, which they're not, They're, the soul is you. You are the witness or the listener or the watcher. yeah, but these, so, or maybe you go, all right, look, spontaneity and honesty, come here, have a little debate. Tell me what you think, you know? So, but that's just one, little idea I thought I'd share with you. Yeah, so imagine your entourage. And, that's trying to figure something out. But it could just be even just throughout the day, or you're bored. There's nothing going, I just don't, or I'm feeling sad, All right, hey, humour, come here. Or, or I'm bored. Yeah, let's go. All right, spontaneity. What have you got? Stop bleaching your hair. Get over here. It's like, you've made your hair pink. Okay, that's interesting, bold move. All right. What do you advise? Spontaneity? And he's like, yeah, well, Jamie, I don't know. Maybe we should just end the podcast. Oh yeah, cool. Or like, let's go play pool. Let's go get a beer. Whatever. You can tap into that part of yourself. So anyway, there we go. Imagine your entourage. And if you're feeling lonely, I think on some level also, that could, even though it's your imagination, there's like people who are alone and they're not lonely, Buddhist monks and stuff up in a mountain somewhere. And they feel like they're completely connected to the universe. And all the trees are like, living sentient beings. But even, although they're not on the same level perhaps as humans, but they feel like completely plugged in and at peace and, connected and present with everyone. But they're alone, but they're not lonely. So if you're lonely, you could also use this, I guess, to kind of, it's a way, basically your mind is tricking you into thinking that you need to be lonely if you're alone. And I think we all no one wants to be lonely. That's not healthy. That's not comfortable. And so, okay, if your mind is tricking you into feeling lonely, then why not untrick yourself with your imagination into not being lonely, Use these characters. Is that so stupid? Is that any less stupid than, feeling some negative emotion, even though objectively, it's not good for us? Which kind of ties back to what Epictetus says about, in a nutshell, it's like you could summarize it in, that 3-part prayer, like the serenity prayer, which is something along the lines of, may I have the courage to change the things I can, the serenity to accept the things I can't, and the wisdom to know the difference. Which is very that's very like deep, basic, fundamental kind of like flow of free will kind of thing there. That's like ones and zeros. Like I can control or I can't. Which? And then the wisdom is like the awareness of, is it 1 or 0? But basically, saying, most of our lives, most things in the universe, it's not in your sphere of control. But if you try to control it, which is what we're doing a lot of the time, we think we don't realize we're doing it. But when you're complaining about something, the way most people complain is like, you're kind of fighting the universe, And so there's so many examples, I think, where we waste our energy and give away our power fighting the inevitable. But if you withdraw your forces from that, don't waste them on that impossible battle, So, okay, you surrender to what you can't control, then the extra resources you've got, you can just focus that on the battles which are within your sphere of influence, on the things you can control, and where you've got complete control, like, for example, what is my response to the situation I'm in, or the choice to go, what resource, what strength, what quality or characteristic, or what strength is required by this challenge, whatever. But basically, not trying to control what you can't control what you can control. So just the awareness of what is within our power is the habit of returning to that, cultivating that awareness, moment by moment, in real time awareness of what's in my power. That itself is an extremely power generating habit. So we'll leave it there. So enjoy your entourage and your party with whatever colorful hooligans you create and the shenanigans involved. That's it. So I'll see you next week, folks. Namaste. Be well.